Hey guys, and welcome back to another skill point guide video for Total War Warhammer 3 on Immortal Empires. Today, excuse me, we'll be going over Greasus Goldtooth playing with the Ogre Kingdoms. Greasus is a little bit of a weird one as well for Legendary Lord because he doesn't really have too many things that are that great about his skill tree, other than the fact that he provides camping. Well, down the camping tree here anyway, he provides some growth for all camps faction wide, and it also increases your camp limit, which is pretty useful, especially early on in the campaign. But other than that, he really doesn't have too much going for him. It's nothing crazy unique, you know, even though he does provide some upkeep cost reduction for Iron Guts by 50%. Upkeep cost isn't that big of a deal compared as, say, like melee attack or physical resistance or what have you, ward save. It's just the upkeep, it just isn't really that big of a deal once you get into the later parts of the campaign. But jumping into a skill tree, I do like to grab Root March or First Form, and then I do like to grab Tribe Stealer and actually go down his skill line, or special skill line here first, just to make him a little bit better again versus some bonus versus large here. Just increase that more, give his army some extra leadership and armor, and then providing them with some casualty replenishment rate as well. Tribe Stealer, I just like to grab it's kind of counterproductive a little bit though, where you get 30 diplomatic relations with Ogre Kingdoms, but also you get melee attack and weapon strength when fighting them, and you're going to be fighting the other Ogre Kingdom factions pretty early on in your campaign for a while anyway, and you're going to have a bunch of like caravans coming in around the Great Hall of Greasus, so it's just kind of a weird special skill line, but I do like to grab that first just for the extra melee attack and weapon strength. That way your army is going to be fighting better against the main bulk of your enemies early on in your campaign. Now after that, since his special skill line is so short, I do like to come down his blue line a little bit, because for his Overtyrant trait he already has a income from sacking and looting plus 50%. So I do like to grab Ravager for that purpose, just to give him an extra 15%, so he's up to 65%. And then I just usually grab the Attrition one, just because you're going to be around. You have Helm and Gorse here with Vampiric Corruption. You have the Kugath spreading his Nurgle Corruption. And I'm sure as more factions come into play down here into Cathay, there's going to be more. You have more Chaos Corruption now with the Chaos Dwarf, so just reducing that a little bit there will help considerably. Now after that, I do like to grab his red line. Now you can go with a thematic army with his Iron Guts, but early on you're going to have a lot of just regular Ogre Bulls. So I do like to grab the, which one is it here? The Bull Charge. Gives them a little extra melee attack and charge bonus for his Ogre Bull units. So again, compile that with his other ability, which is the bigger and stronger for the weapon strength for Ogre Bulls. I do like to grab those. Now at rank 12, I do like to come up here and grab Campin, Beta Campin, and Best Campin, just to grab those faction-wide bonuses for the camp growth, and you know, providing his own army with extra meat. You know, once he's in a area of effect of a camp, that's nice. But also just to get that camp limit of an increase by 1. I really do like that. But then I like to come back to his red line. And really, it kind of just depends what you want to do. Where you can do Tools of Destruction, so from lead belchers primarily is what I use that one for. Or if you want to do Iron Guts, you know, some of his monsters, you know, with the Stone Horns later on. It kind of just depends what you want to do. Personally, I do the Iron Guts one, just to give them more melee attack, melee defense. But it's mainly primarily just to get down to the better second half of his red line. And so I get the richly rewarded for the army leadership and weapon strength, and then getting the stand your ground. It's mainly to get stand your ground, because that 24 melee defense and leadership will help you out quite a bit in your battles in your campaign. Now we still have 26 skill points to spend, and just going down his melee line, why not buff him out? He's a melee lord. He's not the greatest at fighting in melee, just because he's so freaking slow, but when he does hit pretty hard, especially versus large entities, which you're going to be fighting, you know, against a lot of ogres. You're going to be running into Kugath himself, who's a large entity, Gorst on his corpse cart, with his brother's corpse cart. When the Zhao Ming, in case you go up against him, when he becomes a dragon, Greasus will kind of handle him fairly, at least trade blow for blow, even though his melee defense is really low. At least he'll be hitting hard when he does land an attack. And just finishing his melee line. I don't worry about dominance. Causing terror is not a big deal. The AI is very very against, I guess, very defensive against terror. Now, it happens a lot of times for the player where, if the enemy causes terror, that happens quite a bit. But I've rarely seen, a enemy unit anyway, run away because I'm causing terror. It's very unlikely, so I don't worry about it there. And finishing out, I like to grab snacks just so once he is in melee, he does get some regeneration by 0.1% once he is in melee there, which as a melee lord, he's going to be in melee quite a bit. Now, finishing it up, I usually do grab some of his extra abilities up here. The blue line I usually do to end it out. But Sword Nobblers just give him more melee attack, some missile resistance. He's very slow, he's very big, so getting him some extra missile resistance is never a bad thing. Some extra physical resistance, 5%, it's better than nothing. So why not grab it, and getting him some extra speed. I don't worry about getting these sneaky Nobblers just because it doesn't do him any good to have Vanguard deployment. He's incredibly slow, he's not a spellcaster, and usually, as a legendary lord, if it is a spellcaster, sure, why not grab it? That way they can be casting faster and sooner in a battle, but there's really no point in giving him Vanguard deployment, in my opinion, there. And then spell resistance, blessed by the Great Maw, why not give him some extra spell resistance? And just finishing out the blue line, or finishing out your skills with the blue line, rather. Oddly enough, I actually do like to go down Lightning Strike a little bit with him, just because the looting and the control 1 provinces isn't that big of a deal, in my opinion. Now, I know his Over-Tyrant gives him 50% from looting. I really don't like looting in the game because of the massive public order problems your settlements will have because of it. So I try not to loot as much as possible unless you're playing as Skaven, where you just can't escape that aspect of it. Now, you can either do like Quartermaster or go more into Lightning Strike. I usually do Quartermaster just because your better units in your campaign are going to be very expensive. Even the Iron Guts, outside of his army are going to be pretty costing you a pretty penny. Or like the Man Eaters here, even the basic variant are costing him almost 300 gold a turn. So what? And that's even after putting 3 points into the Quartermaster there. And so that's why I like to pick that over the remaining points into Lightning Strike there. And the last point, just like to do Renowned and Feared, a little extra upkeep cost reduction, more campaign movement range, all really good things to grab there in terms of his skill tree. And in terms of his melee line, going back to it because I did miss it, I don't worry about the charge bonus, because for charge bonus to really take effect, you need charge bonus and speed, which we've talked already several times in this video, where he just doesn't have enough speed to make his charge bonus be that much of an effect. So don't worry about grabbing Devastating Charge there, in my opinion. But anyway, that is how I level up Greasus. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think, if you level him up a different way. A lot of it kind of just depends down the red line what you want to end up doing. Now, if you're like me and play with the one-button respec mod, once you get Iron Guts, you can, use the respec mod, do the Best Eaters, and then swap, Bull Charge with, if you do Stone Horns, or if you do some of the artillery, or if you do some of the Morphane Cavalry and Crusher units, you can always just swap it out then. But other than that, it's a pretty solid way, in my opinion, of going about leveling him up. Get his red line, get him a little stronger in melee, buff his army a little bit, get some global bonuses, all good things there. But anyway, let me know again down in the comments what you guys think, and don't forget to leave a like on the video if you guys are enjoying the content. And until the next video or live stream, I hope you guys have a good one, and until then, I will see you later. Bye.